What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another day in the crypto space. I'm Mr. Influenced, and here's another video for you. Today we're going to talk about an interesting article I came up on Cointelegraph. This is where I look at a lot of the news that's happening in the crypto space, and this one caught my eye today. It's a decently positive, you could say it's a positive article. So let's get into it. You're going to see more and more videos like this just to bring your eyes out to the articles, and later we could talk in the comments or on Telegram whether you think this is a true article, if it's a good article, or if it's just a bunch of FUD, stuff like that. So let's get right into it. CNBC Fast Money's Brian Kelly. If you guys don't know who Brian Kelly is, Google is your best friend. I'm sorry for the camera shaking. Right now I have the camera on my desk. I have my two monitors mounted on the wall. I just have to figure out how to get this camera up on there instead of on here on the desk, where the desk wobbles a little bit every time I use the mouse. So this is what Brian Kelly said. Bitcoin is like the internet in the 1980s. Brian Kelly of CNBC's Fast Money compared cryptocurrency to the internet in the 1980s, emphasizing the Bitcoin BTC is still in its early stages in an April 13th interview on CNBC's Trading Block. When asked about Bitcoin's potential, Kelly answered that while he used to see crypto as comparable to the internet in 1995, he now understands that a better comparison is further back. I think this technology is going to work. It's going to be game-changing, but it's very early days, so we can have this massive volatility. Let's just check out this video real quick.
We're early stage tech in this, so you have to remember this is like the...
It's a 5-minute video, but we have time. If we're in this space invested into it, we have time to educate ourselves and see what's going on in the outside world about our market.
Internet in the 1980s. I used to think it was the internet in the 95, but after the last couple months talking to folks, I think we're more like the 1980s. So, I think this technology is going to...
So he's pretty much saying that he's thinking that this whole crypto Bitcoin thing is... They thought it was... His perspective was comparing it to the 1995 internet thing. But now he sees it as an even earlier thing. He sees that it's a technology that's not ready for the real world yet. It's in the process, but it will take some time.
It's going to be game changing, but it's very early days, so we can have this massive volatility.
In terms of the move that we've seen though this week, part of it is, I would imagine, short squeeze, right?
Yep.
Part of it is people trying to cover for the tax liabilities that they have, $25 billion, according to Tom Lee.
Yes.
So this is for real, you think?
I think this is for real. So
this will be a real test, though. I mean, if we're not able to hold these gains, then those two premises may be proven wrong.
That's right. So we'll know, presumably after April 17th, if we can hold these gains, we'll know how much of that tax selling impacted. If you use Tom Lee's work, we probably had to have about $500 to $600 billion come off the market for tax purposes, and we've had that since December. So we should be there. Looks like we bottomed here. There definitely seems to be a change in the sentiment around it.
I like that. Looks like we've bottomed here. I said this maybe, I believe it was like 3 weeks, no, maybe more, when we hit a low of like 6,400 or something like that, 6,300. I made a video and I said, watch out for this point because it could be the bottom. And as of right now, that's correct. Now, don't take anything I say as financial advice. It's my perspective. It's entertainment for you guys. But as of right now, what I said, it was correct, and that was the bottom. And we haven't seen a lower bottom yet, so we'll see.
So I think this is the real thing.
What does it say, though, that you can have an asset that goes down kind of 60% on, hey, what just happened, and maybe it's taxes and maybe something else? If it's the internet in the 80s, what is the stuff of the internet in the 80s that you would have owned? It's equivalent to what you own in Bitcoin. Is it bandwidth? Is it stuff
it's Cisco, right? We're at the age of Cisco and Microsoft.
Cisco had cash flows. Microsoft had cash flows.
Right, but you're talking about with Cisco. You're talking about routers, right? And you're talking about internet protocols. So this is a open source software. So you can't think of it as a company, right? And I think that's where people make a mistake. They quote market cap and say all that. This is not a stock. It's not a company.
But
it's open
it's not
source
Cisco
software.
or Microsoft. No, but
it's similar, right? It's similar in the tech side.
It should respond to sentiment, though. It should respond to... And guess who stopped talking about it and asking all guests about it? Andrew.
Really?
Yes, recently, in the last month. So
As a sentiment
Do you
gauge for
think
the markets, you mean?
Yeah.
When it was 11,
We have had a
12,000,
pretty decent-
when it was 11, 12,
we
not
have
for the
had a
market,
pretty
for
decent
Bitcoin itself.
market
No, for
this
Bitcoin
week.
itself, I mean, sentiment. When it gets over, when taxi drivers want to buy Bitcoin.
Oh.
you don't want to buy it? I would
Right.
say that. And,
Yeah.
and look at what's come out.
Not
Barclays recently.
the taxi or Uber drivers. But,
No,
or
but,
Lyft.
or any of those
But-
drivers for that
But
matter.
when it
But
gets that mainstream.
it gets that mainstream. So right now we're having articles from Barclays calling it a virus, right? Saying stuff like it'll never hit a high again. That's when I want to buy any asset, whether it's Bitcoin or not. I want to buy those assets at 20,000 when people are saying, "Hey, this thing could hit 100,000." You know, takes them off the table, just like any other asset.
Exactly what I said in my last 2 videos. I believe I mentioned it both times. If you guys pay attention, I did say, once you hear your Uber drivers, the people that work at the stores that you shop in, start talking about Bitcoin and stuff, and it's at a high, that's a good time to get out, at least for a little bit. And then when everybody is saying, I believe it'll go down some more, man, don't do the same thing. It won't work out for you.
Theranos, they're saying it's never going to go up again. Don't buy that. Though.
Yeah. Well, that appeared to
That
be a
was
fraud,
fraud.
though. That's a
That
little
was
different.
fraud.
I mean,
That's a
yeah.
different
No, you said when no one.
It seems like most of the people here aren't really educated about Bitcoin. They just know like the basics that everybody knows, like critics, like the critics. And this
The
other
ones that
guy,
says-
Brian Kelly, is actually very educated on Bitcoin.
It's going to be at zero forever. That's when you want to buy it.
Yeah,
In
listen,
this case,
you know
no.
what? You're absolutely
In
right.
this case-
I said that because you're a smart guy. I
Okay.
figured you had some.
No,
you
I just happen to
understood.
see it's back.
Yeah.
They're trying to hang on for.
No
Anyway,
assumptions.
oil's always going to be, unless it's not. I would figure oil will always be valuable, but it's gotten more valuable in the last month. A lot more valuable. How much more valuable do you think it will get? Are we already? Is the news about Syria and the Middle East, is that in the price now?
It's getting baked in, Joe. What we're seeing now, we're at prices at a 3-year high.
Okay. So basically, you guys get the point. Let's just finish the article. Kelly compares Bitcoin to early internet companies Cisco and Microsoft, equating Bitcoin with Cisco's router and internet protocols. So equating, I guess, means comparing, which seems legit because that's what he was doing. However, Kelly underlines that it is incorrect to think of Bitcoin as a company or a stock. This is an open source software. You can't think of it as a company, and that's where people make their mistake. This is not a stock, this is not a company, and this is correct. Bitcoin's price slump since the new year has been attributed by Fundstrat's Tom Lee to a taxpayer sell-off in the US before the tax day, April 17th. According to the interview, Kelly agrees with Lee's analysis, adding that we'll know presumably after April 17th if we can hold these gains. Kelly also mentions the recent report by analysts at Barclays that referred to cryptocurrency as a virus, FUD, and an infectious disease that would never hit another high again. Kelly notes that the moment right after such negative articles are published is when he wants to buy an asset, whether it's Bitcoin or not. On Friday, Kelly said in another interview that he supports investment tycoon Tim Draper's assessment that Bitcoin could hit $250,000 by 2022. I really like this article, and I will look more into Brian Kelly. I like the guy already. Just from the way he was talking about Bitcoin. I don't know personally who he is. I don't watch much of these news. I don't remember names often. But this guy has me. Like, he seemed very educated and very for Bitcoin. That's pretty much it for this article. If you like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and comment something below whether you think this article is FUD or hype or whatever you want to call it. Just comment on the article. Let's make this a little series. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.